and welcome to the Mindset Coach podcast, the show where coaches and coaches-to-be tune in to learn how to integrate mindset coaching tools and neuroscience-based techniques into their practice and grow and scale a coaching business they love. I'm your host, Lara Young, founder of the Mindset Coach Academy, author of 52 Adventures to Change Your Life, award-winning business owner, coach, and coach trainer. Tune into this podcast each Friday, free on all the podcasting apps, and click to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And remember, mindset is everything. How to support yourself in achieving your goals. Now, in the last couple of episodes, we have looked at getting set for the year ahead. We've looked at reviewing the year just gone. We've looked at what you want to achieve. We've put it into the 90-day or 12-week planning framework, and you've made some decisions there. Now, if you've missed those episodes, do head back and have a listen. There are some downloads available on mindsetcoachacademy.com/resources that you can work through to help you establish your goals. And now we're going to start to look at what are the things that you can do to set yourself up even further for success. Now, some of the things that I'm going to talk to you about may seem a little strange because you may think, well, actually, that isn't mindset. But actually, everything that we do, all our behaviors, our actions, our reactions, beliefs and values, everything is part of our mindset. And today we're going to start looking at the most fundamental, I guess the most basic level at which you can support yourself in terms of achieving the goals that you've set. And that is your environment. Now, your environment comprises the places you go, the people that you associate with, and the things that are around you. So the systems, the technology that you use. And sometimes I find that when the environment isn't right, it's not conducive to you achieving your goals, it can lead to things like overwhelm or procrastination, or even just being dissuaded from taking action that you'd planned to take because you're influenced by other people who are in your current environment, in your social circle, in your family, and your wider network. And so what we want to do as we set ourselves up for success is make sure that our environment is supporting us in achieving our goals. So let's have a look at some of the steps that you can take and the decisions that you can make to ensure that your environment fully supports what it is that you desire to achieve. One of the things we know, of course, that is quite important in terms of bringing in energy and attention and focus is to declutter our physical environment. Now, there are lots of things that you can be doing, and I know that there are lots of great ways that you can begin to declutter. There are lots of great systems for decluttering. And I want you to actually think about taking things step by step in terms of getting rid of the things that no longer serve or support you, that maybe even drain the energy and drain the focus on you in terms of getting on and doing what it is that you want to do in your business. Now, there are key areas, of course, that are related to business, but let's not forget that an energetic drain, that mental drain can occur if you know that there is clutter, that there are jobs to attend to in other areas of your home. You know, even the glove box of your car, your garage can really impact on you because it's at the unconscious level. You know that there is clutter there that diverts your energy and your attention from focusing on what you want to focus on. And also, for those of us that like to procrastinate, they are the things that we can think to ourselves, oh, I must go and tackle that job now. I must go and clean out the garage instead of doing the work that you have decided that you need to do for that day or in that moment. And so decluttering is a really important way in which we can signal to ourselves that we have the energy and the focus to achieve our goals. Now, in a business context, the most important thing to make sure of course, that in your environment, you have an office space, an office environment that's conducive to you getting the work done. Now, I know that many of you work perhaps at the kitchen table, but are there ways for you to actually, segment that off or to signal to yourself that that is your space for working in? Perhaps you are someone who has children at school, you are someone who doesn't have necessarily that space. How can you actually create an environment that signals to you that that is the space from which you work, and you're not sitting on the sofa with your laptop on your knee? You have got a dedicated place to actually do what it is that you do. Now, it can be that, for example, you do have an office, you might have an office environment. How clear of clutter is that? How ready are you to receive new clients? Have you got client files set up even on your computer? Have you got emails? How many emails are actually in your inbox right now? I'm not going to tell you how many emails are in my inbox, but how many emails are in your inbox right now? Do you have an email system that works for you? Do you have an email system where you actually have out of hours on? Because that can actually help you to declutter the number of messages that you're getting. Do you have folders set up in your email system so that when you receive emails from certain people or certain software, it can go directly into that folder rather than actually cluttering up your inbox? Are you making the most of that? How are you operating your email inbox? Are you actually reading each email and then actioning straight away, or reading it and then using a star and going back to it? Of course, time management and productivity experts will tell us the best thing to do is to check your emails twice a day, maybe 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and then action them in that time space. Of course, if you have a VA or an assistant who can help you, then that is a great task to delegate to them. So they just flag up to you the emails that need your direct attention and your specific response. So think about that. How many emails do you need to actually declutter? Because the more junk we've got in our emails, the less open it is to be receiving those new clients and that correspondence that we really want to welcome into our business. Now, your office generally, what is it like? Does it please you to go in there? Do you enjoy spending time in that space? Fill it with things that you love. Create easy to access references. I have a lot of books, for example, that I have easy access to on my bookshelf, on neuroscience, NLP, hypnotherapy, and I know that I can just reach for them at any given moment. If I'm talking to a client or if I'm running one of my training sessions, I can easily reach the resources that I need if I want to reference them or show them to my students and clients. Are there things in your office environment that really light you up? Are there things that you have? Do you have any plants in your office? What are the things that you can actually do to really make it that space that signifies to you it's time to step into that identity of the person who's going to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself? Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you, so thank you for your support. Now back to the show. Now, this is an activity that I do recommend that you do, is to think about that. Think about, is the layout conducive? Do you have a comfortable chair? Do you have the right systems and equipment in your business to help you achieve your goals? What's your computer like? What's your laptop like? Is it working for you? Do you need a microphone? What systems do you need to actually perhaps purchase or implement to ensure the smooth running of your business? Do you have funnels, for example, from your email, so that you can really nurture those clients that you're onboarding? Do you have a reliable email system or CRM system? Do you have ways in which you can streamline the way that you run your business? Do you use tools like Asana or Trello? How do you actually increase your productivity so that you can better use your time in your business, better be focused? And I want you to think about all of these things so that you can then make decisions about what action you're going to take to implement some changes in your environment that will really be supportive of you in achieving your goals this year. Now, the next thing, of course, is the people around you. Now, we all need people around us who get it. right? And having that community, having those people who understand what it's like to run our own business, who understand what it's like perhaps to work from home, who understand, we've been in a global pandemic, we're in lockdown here in the UK. Maybe it's about people who understand what it's like to be parenting, homeschooling, and running a business. And I want you to think about, who do you need to build a community with? Are there people out there that you want to develop relationships with so that you can have that network that is really supportive and understands what it is that you are wanting to achieve and can really cheer you on and also provide helpful, supportive feedback in making that a reality? Now, of course, the Facebook group, which is a free community, the Mindset Coach Collective, is one such space where you can meet like-minded people. But I know there are lots of places online and social media where that can happen as well. So I want you to also start to think in terms of your environment about how your social media interactions are conducive to supporting you as well. Are you using social media as a platform for connection? What social media platforms are you on? And I know we did a bit of a review of this in last week's show, but I want you to think about this in terms of the environment. Now, are you actually interacting on social media in a meaningful way? Are you using it strategically in your business? Or is it a rabbit hole that you go down that detracts from your focus, that detracts from your energy? When you go on social media, are you comparing yourself with other people and diluting or putting a dampener on your emotional state so then you're less inclined to take action? If you recognize that being on certain platforms triggers you in some way or detracts from your focus, then make some strategic decisions about how you're going to use those platforms, how you're going to interact on those platforms. Now, I'm hoping that you do have a business bestie of some description. And if you don't, again, come to the Mindset Coach Collective. There's great people there. But having a business bestie or two is great because that is all about helping you keep accountable, running ideas by. You can do co-working with them and all of those things that really just help you to stay on track and stay focused in an environment where people get what it is that you actually do. Now, speaking of that, there are some people who just don't understand what it is that we do as business owners, right? There are people who maybe you've got friends who have always worked in a 9 to 5 and they don't understand why you're working and what your mission is and all of those good things. Maybe your parents don't understand. I mean, I don't think my parents fully understand exactly what I do. And so you want to have people on board who really do that. You may also find that you've got people perhaps in your social circle or even in your family who don't, because they don't understand, they don't necessarily give you the most supportive messages about what it is that you're doing. They may want to, encourage you to go out and, go on a holiday or do things and think that you have more flexibility than you do. And so it's really about working out and being able to communicate with people who are in that wider social circle that you need time, that you need focus, and, to be able to articulate to them what it is that you're doing in your business and actually how they can best support you in getting clients, in getting the word out there, and to really be, even the person who's going to bring you a cup of tea or that says to you, look, I'll cook dinner tonight. I know you're going to run a training course at 8 o'clock or a webinar or whatever. Let me cook dinner. I know you've got coaching client today. Let me make sure that the children are out and are quiet, and that's the other thing. For those of us, I'm included, I have a 7 and an 8-year-old who have children and we're now back home schooling. It's those kind of things that make such a big difference, is being able to recognize in your environment what are the things that you need to keep others perhaps in your family recognizing that you need time to do X. For example, I am sitting here now. My children are downstairs. I've said to them, you can have screen time for an hour while I record a podcast. And that's great. That works for me. I'm on my own. I don't have anyone else that I can say, can you look after them for me, especially in the pandemic where we are in lockdown. And so it's recognizing those things, like what is it that you need? What support do you need? And also in terms of the environment, who are those people that you can just ring up and say, and just say, look, oh my gosh, I need some help, or I need a pep talk, or I need whatever it is, okay? And the environment in terms of your work is just so important. It is important that we do have a clutter-free environment. It is important that we have a clear pathway to achieve our goals. It's important that we know what it is that we want to achieve and that we've got the systems in place to support us in doing that. It is also important that we have those people around us who understand what we do. Now, I know that there are probably many things in your environment that are working well for you. There are things that you've already decided to do in terms of your own time management and perhaps your time blocking and making sure that you're using your time and energy in the most effective way. But if you've recognized in any of this things that maybe you need to do so that you can improve the environment in which you're working, then please take the time in the next week or so to make those things happen. And we've talked about the office environment, but maybe it's time as well to get out and do those jobs that might be niggling you at the unconscious level that you need to do in decluttering or fixing things around the home to make it so that you free up your mental capacity just to be able to focus on the things that you know that are going to help you to move forward, to achieve your goals this year in a way that is easy and that you can do it with flow and with confidence. I look forward to seeing you in next week's show. Bye for now. That wraps up this week's episode of the Mindset Coach podcast. Remember to join us next week for another episode and subscribe on your favourite podcast app. Leave us a review if you've loved it, share it with your friends, and I really look forward to learning how you're implementing the tools and techniques that you're learning here. Mindset is everything.